Hi, I'm Susie, and welcome to today's episode of the Inside Out series. My guest today is Rosie Viva, a model, documentary maker, and mental health advocate. She is also recently an author of Completely Normal and Totally Fine. Hi, Rosie.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Sorry, she's walked through the door and I've actually sandwiched her down straight away to target you.
No, I'm good. It's funny because whenever I do podcasts, I feel like I'm either one or the other energy-wise, which is classic of bipolar. And I'm quite subdued this week, which is a different conversation, but a nice one to have. So.
Are you feeling kind of quite mellow and...
Yeah, just not like mentally great the last few weeks, actually, which I'm never that comfortable about speaking about. But I should be, as I speak about this publicly. But it always seems that I have a lot of interviews when I'm feeling really good. And so I'm like, wow, must give that impression so easily because I can be talking at a million miles an hour. And then weeks like this week, it's so good for me to leave my comfort zone and speak when I'm not 1,000,000%.
And on a high.
It's complete balance. Well, out of balance, but it's both. So.
Can you explain what that feels like? I mean, we'll go into the fact that you have bipolar in a second, but yeah, like how have you recognised that feeling? You just...
Of feeling low?
Yeah, you just... the av.
I think it's... First of all, this is the first year I've done therapy. And, well, I had such bad experiences with the NHS, and I was so lucky that I was in that system, but the therapist I was seeing was really unhelpful. So this is the first year that I came back to it because I think you lose hope when you don't have someone who's very helpful. So I just started, and I guess it was that thing only on Monday, and I hide it if I'm in a low so well. So I'd never tell anyone. I just sort of hope it will go away. But then I was telling my therapist about a book, and then he said, oh, I thought you were reading this book. And I said, well, I read that book. And he said, Rosie, how many books are you reading? And I was like, oh, 1 or 2 a week. And he was like, how are you finding time? And I'm like, oh, I'm in bed so early. And then you sort of look back and you realise that you can so easily get away with being in a low because you see friends at the weekends and you sort of manage to make plans in the middle of the day and turn up to work.
Yeah.
But then it's the early mornings and the late evenings where you shut off.
Okay, yeah.
And that's sort of as bad as it gets for me compared to in the past where I haven't been able to work in lows. So I don't complain about it, but it's sort of periods of low compared to periods of high, I guess.
And in those moments, I mean, we'll explain the differences in a second, but in those moments, do you now feel comfortable to kind of, like, you're talking about it now, which is amazing, but is that something that you feel comfortable to kind of message your close friends, or are you kind of like, does hindsight really come into play within that?
I think like low periods just creep up on you and you're in denial for quite a while.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you recognise it, for me, that's always the start of getting out of it. And if I tell friends, it keeps me a bit accountable.
Okay.
And it means I find it harder to say no to plans when they know that my excuse is now me being on my own.
Yeah.
So like tonight I'm going clubbing. Like
Right.
I throw myself in the deep end. This is the issue with bipolar is like the average person who's in a low will deal with it by having nights in and taking care of themselves. Whereas when I recognise it, I go, oh my God, I can't let this get worse. So I'll go clubbing, I'll see friends, I'll sort of really try and get out of my head and into real life again rather than reading into it and going inwards.
And like defining yourself as being in a low.
Yeah.
And even, do you feel like going clubbing tonight?
Oh, do you know what? Luckily, everyone in my life is such a great person that decision is actually to spend the night with a friend rather than clubbing is just perfect people watching.
Yeah.
So, and also I'm not great at sleeping in a high or a low. And so going out clubbing and people watching with a friend is something which I find really fun.
Yeah.
So that's actually a really good plan. But I won't be drinking. So it's a sober night out.
Which is a bit... Okay, I think we should go back as well. Quickly.
It's a weird way to manage, yeah. But...
Oh, no, it's good. No, I think it's really good. I think we should go back and give everyone a bit of context as well, because obviously I know you and have known you now for a while. We've actually done this before. So this is
I'm
round
glad
2.
we're doing it later, though, because I can't remember what that conversation was.
No, I think it was when we first met. And it's nice now that we're a bit more familiar. But I was just saying to the boys here that I had no idea what bipolar even was or what it looked like. And since meeting you, it's really opened my eyes up to, obviously I still don't know and ignorant to so many things that you go through. But yeah, could you explain a bit about what bipolar kind of is to you? I know it's different for everyone.
So weirdly, I found this like amazing statistic yesterday that 1 in 12 people are affected by bipolar, whether it's someone in your life or whether it's a friend.
Wow.
Which is actually means that it's not that niche and it's really common. It's only 1 in 100 people have it. But basically, it's a mood disorder, which means that your moods have a much greater depth than the average person. So you're highly sensitive, and you can be on a mood scale. Most people will sort of go between a 4 and a 6, and say it's your wedding day or something, you might go up to a 7. And if you're having a really low day, like around grief, you might drop down to a 3, but your sort of bracket, your brain's mood width is fairly normal. Okay. Whereas someone with bipolar goes up to 7, 8, 9, 10, and 9 and 10, that sort of top part is psychosis and delusion, and that's mania. And then there's hypomania, which is a slightly more controlled high, which is speaking a million miles an hour, elevated mood, no need to sleep, all of these things, and having quite delusional thoughts, but not full-blown sort of psychosis.
Yeah.
And then on the low end, you slip into a depressive state, which I guess is more... it's more worrying than someone who has depression, because you go delusional on the low end as well. So a lot of suicidal ideation, a lot of hopelessness, paranoia, and I guess, it's just much more extreme. And basically with bipolar, you can flip between the two.
Very quickly.
Very quickly. So sometimes you can go between a low and a high within a day. That's like rapid cycling. Some people, it's much more sort of massive periods. So you might have 3 months high and then 3 months low. That would be quite a sort of... That doesn't sound too disordered though. And I think the hard thing when you have bipolar is like that order doesn't make sense much of the time.
Yeah.
So it might be 1 month high, 6 months low. It might be 2 days high, 3 weeks low. It's not something you can predict. You just have to sort of learn to manage and spot the signs and see if you can support yourself in either end.
And okay, let's just talk about Stansted Airport, because I feel like I know you've told this story 1,000 times.
I've got a tattoo now.
Have you?
Of a plane.
It's a good juicy, it is a good juicy story. I don't know why it's funny. It shouldn't be.
No, it's absolutely hilarious.
Tell,
it's the best and worst day of my life.
Yeah, so tell me about 2018 in Stansted Airport.
So this was 7 years ago. And it's funny because when you speak publicly, you become so detached from your story.
Yeah.
And I still, like, I have the visuals in my mind because I played through it all the time. But basically, I'd had a year of depression and anxiety, which was so out of the usual as to what it had been growing up. So growing up, like, I was very depressed at periods and I was very anxious, but it was never something I thought I should speak to anyone about. I just sort of had that English upper lip thing of displaying happiness and actually thinking that maybe something in my life could change it. I didn't think it was something innate. And then basically in 2018, my anxiety was so bad and I was having panic attacks and constantly in hospital thinking I had heart issues. And so I started antidepressants because I couldn't go to work and work was defining me at that point in my life. And
what
so
were you doing?
I was modelling. And so, the fact that I was having to say no to jobs and stuff, I couldn't actually handle that my mental health was getting in the way and I could no longer mask it. So I started taking antidepressants, and for about 7 months, it was just not working at all, hugely paranoid, physically felt like I was on cocaine every day. I just completely withdrew and lost my confidence and didn't really know what to do. And then I went through a breakup, and with a lot of people getting their bipolar diagnosis, it's your first sort of traumatic experience, which can bring about an episode. And that sort of love lost spun me up into a high where I was very religious and delusional. And after about 2 weeks of not sleeping, I got to Stansted Airport because my parents saw me posting online very manically that I was sort of heading down the Jesus route in life.
When you say the Jesus route in life?
I was, so I have a sibling who died from leukemia, and I was posting that I believed I was his reincarnation. And that's obviously very public to a lot of people. And my parents knew that was actually sort of crossing over into delusion. So they wanted me to come and join them on holiday. So I got to the airport. I was on my own at the time, obviously because they were away and I was living with them. And then the day I woke up to go to Stansted, it was actually just straight into psychosis. So could no longer trust my vision, was hearing voices, was seeing things, and it was just sort of a bit of a nightmare. And then when I was in Stansted, I guess it was so horrible to be hearing voices louder than your own that I just subconscious part of me went and hit the fire alarm and jumped through baggage drop off. And I've actually never said this on a podcast because it's so embarrassing, but my ex had a music video idea to jump through baggage drop off. And I know that
Is that why you did
I
it?
actually know that I've always known that was like some weird subconscious like late night chat we'd had,
I might as
and
well
I
be the
must
girl
have
in the
heard
video.
it. And I obviously like dumped and then thought I could be in his music, like,
Oh my God, that is so
which
funny.
is like, obviously this is the first time I've actually said that out loud, and I've always known that there was a real reason. It was
Why it
just
was, like,
totally
that,
erratic. It was like, oh, hey, I know where I'm at. I'm on
Be
a
Justin
music
Bieber's
video.
girl.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
so funny.
and obviously, I mean, I
So you
think when
did
he
that.
found out, he probably has not put that together for reasons that you wouldn't think someone would actually do that for a late
I
night
think it's
conversation.
a good sign of
but,
commitment.
yeah, got arrested, and then sectioned. So that was the beginning.
Okay, so this was prior to the diagnosis, or the diagnosis was... You were diagnosed just before all of this? No, after.
No,
It was after you got section, wasn't it?
Yeah. So when you're under section, I think it probably takes a few days for them to assess, like, have you got drugs in your system? Is this like weed-induced psychosis, or how long are you hearing voices for? Like, do certain medications work? Could it be schizophrenia? There's probably a bit of a grey area of a few days where it's waiting to see how your psychosis is. Mine was very textbook bipolar.
Okay.
So I was given a diagnosis within a few days, but I don't remember that because it took me about 3 months to come back down to earth.
Wow. Okay, so that period where you're like on this massive high, can you remember those moments and that feeling and those voices?
Do you know what? I think I've blocked out a lot just because it was so weird, and you can't remember loads of it because you're not even seeing things which make sense. So my mum wasn't my mum until 8 weeks in. And I remember when she came to visit me around that time, and I got really tearful saying, where am I? Who are these people? And she had to say, look, you're in hospital. And I got quite angry saying, how have you left me here?
Yeah.
And she said, Rosie, I've come and seen you every day. She was like, I've been here every day for 8 weeks. And I just hadn't recognised her. So when she'd walk into a room, a bit like a dream where someone's face morphs, she'd be a teacher from my junior school or something. There was no connect with reality.
Okay.
For quite a while. So my memories of it are really blurred.
Yeah.
Because it's like, did that happen? And going back to the hospital after my discharge for a few little sort of appointments, it really triggered me because I sort of was like, wow, that all happened. And 3 months is so long. Like, if you have a bad trip at a festival, 2 days can feel long.
Yeah.
3 months is like...
Also, to have a part of your life that is then sort of semi-stolen from you by yourself must be such a weird sensation.
Yeah.
Like, my own brain did this to me, and there's this part that I haven't... You know, you're not like in a car accident or something.
No, it was weird. I mean, I came home and like it was such a small thing, but the corner shop near my parents' house, they'd like painted it, and I was like, I was so weird. I was just like, wow, life has really gone on, and they've had a glow up, and there's a new Pret near Edgware Road, and it was just these things where I didn't know what music had come out. I didn't know what had happened in politics.
Like you'd been up in space.
Wow. One of my best friends had gone to Oxford to start her masters. I'd missed her whole first term. Like, it was so weird, and I think people were scared to tell me what had happened or if they'd broken up with their boyfriend and stuff, because when they did, I'd go, oh my god, I'd sort of panic and be like, wow, 3 months just flew by. It was really weird.
Do you feel like that put an emphasis? Did you find that you struggled with trust after that? Because people are telling you these things and you're expected to believe them, and there probably must be a transitional period where you're like, someone's telling you she's your mum and you're like, oh, you love I don't know. And then I don't know, was there any element of you that struggled with trust at all after that? I
trusted it's difficult. I definitely didn't trust myself. I didn't believe that my brain
could do that.
I just didn't believe. I felt so let down, and I felt so scared that my brain wasn't going to keep me well. I think I tried to trust my mum, but everyone around me was saying that I was going to get better. And I just had no proof. It was like a year of hell before that, and then 3 months of this. And I just hadn't been in touch with reality in a way I enjoyed in so long that I'd lost trust in everyone telling me that things were going to be okay. Because I just thought, none of you have had this. Like, it's great that you think things are going to be fine, but
ultimately I'm the only person.
What are you talking about? It was just total disconnect with everyone. I was just really, really worried about it.
Was there a moment when you were diagnosed? Did you feel a moment of relief at all, or was it actually, or not so much?
Yes and no. It's so hard because I was not myself to receive that diagnosis, and I wasn't rational. And now looking back, that was the turning point in my life, and it's helped me live a happy life. But I think there was some relief knowing that I hadn't been crazy the year before.
Yeah.
Like, I wasn't reacting to antidepressants because I'm not someone with depression. So I shouldn't take that medication. So there was some relief knowing, oh my gosh, there's new medications I can try. Like,
it hasn't always been
there's
like
hope.
this.
Yeah, maybe there's something which I can do. So that was a relief. But then I think the shame of bipolar and the general sort of understanding of it, I knew nothing, and I thought it was crazy old people. And so there wasn't loads of relief in that being what I had.
And did you feel quite alone? Because that's like before you obviously would start to build a community.
My God, so bad. Yeah, you're so alone. And also, I think when you've been dumped and then you're living with your parents.
Yeah.
And then I fell in love with my nurse. And he was 40, and that was the whole thing. And then I had to stop that relationship because obviously that's inappropriate. But like, the only person who I felt I could speak to was my mum.
Okay.
And she's the most empathetic person, but she's never really struggled with depression. So for the closest person in your life to be someone who can't understand,
tap into that like way
how
of the
you
mind.
physically and mentally feel,
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know anyone who's in this place.
And do you feel like the relationship with the nurse was because they were acting as someone who was like looking after you? And
oh my God, he was.
You haven't told me that before.
Really? I mean, my friends laugh because they're like, I always think the person I'm obsessed with is the fittest person in the world.
Yeah, no, I know.
So I'm like looking at them, I'm like, you are you actually don't understand, but right now you are the fittest person on the planet. And that was that sort of love of someone when it happens, it's really hard to get out of it. And he was, very caring, and it's a weird dynamic because you read about it and you think, oh, that would never happen to me. But then when you're manic, you don't sleep. And so for 3 months in hospital, he had to sit in my door and talk to me all night.
Oh my God.
Because I just wouldn't sleep. I just didn't sleep at all, maybe for like an hour between 5 and 6 a.m. But then I'd be up again. And I think that bonding was like, I've never spent 3 months up all night talking to a guy.
I mean, that's like Love Island to the next extreme.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot.
I know. Sadly, I wasn't being particularly cool. Like, I was stripping down and like trying to jump out the window. And so it was like a weird sort of thing. But then when I actually saw him after hospital, I'd be like, oh yeah, one of my sisters, works for my parents' company. And he was like, yeah, I know.
So
I was like,
everything,
I've told this man absolutely everything, and it'd be really niche things about like pet rabbit names, and he'd be like, I know.
That's so
like,
funny.
Shit, I can't remember what I've told you, but yeah.
And now, like, laughing,
talking.
it's so nice that you can laugh back at these situations. Because is there any like part of you that feels embarrassed about these things, or like
no,
good for you?
Not someone to be embarrassed. Like, I just can't talk about this publicly and be someone who promotes that message that it's something to be embarrassed about, because I just know it's out of your control. Like, all of its actions when you're high, there's nothing which can stop you.
Yeah.
You're just so fearless, and you're so certain that what you're doing is correct. You are delusional. And so to be embarrassed by delusion would just to go back on bipolar, which is, something we should not be ashamed about.
Well, I think in some ways I guess a diagnosis, not the beauty of a diagnosis, but certainly when I got diagnosed with ADHD, there were so many points in my life where I'd find myself like every year in tears, like, what have I done? How have I got to this place? I shouldn't have done that, And it made me feel like I could have something that was accountable. And if I was a bit relieved in some sense. I was like, okay, that's out of my control. I don't know if you found that at all.
Well, I think it's good. Like any neurodivergence, I'm finding a lot at the moment. I don't know if you are, but a lot of people online think it's now like trendy.
Yeah.
And it's like, who the fuck cares if it's 50% of us? Why does it have to be a niche?
Yeah,
I'm not just learning that most of us are not neurotypical.
Yeah.
Why do we have to be a niche? Why, like, that's ridiculous. Who cares if all your friends got ADHD diagnosis? Maybe we'd start to rethink the system.
Yeah, for sure.
Of how we live. So that really annoys me. But
school or something.
It definitely makes you more empathetic to the way you are. And so I think learning about what you have is just, really
And
cool.
what do you think is like one of the biggest misconceptions about bipolar? Because I know it's a phrase that is so like blasé-ly used. Is that a word? Blasé-ly? I don't know.
Yeah. Misconceptions. I mean, I think people think you're intense.
Okay.
And actually, most people with bipolar are on so much medication that we're not intense.
Yeah.
You have to grieve your old sort of temperament because you become so laid back.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, honestly, if a fire alarm went off, I'll be the last person to move.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just like so chilled. And I think that's one thing where people with bipolar, like, we have such a spark and a fire, but we're not actually very intense, and we are very laid back because nothing shocks you anymore.
Yeah.
So I've met a lot of people who are like quite shy and calm and kind. And yeah, I just think that word intense in my mind was the worst thing at the beginning. And
you would hate being categorized with.
Yeah. And I guess in some ways it's intense, but when you meet people with bipolar, that energy isn't jarring.
It's also quite powerful, though, I think, in so many ways. I mean, any lived experience, you learn so much. So a lot of it is also super powerful. And so now, kind of, how has things been since, I know 2018 was like a long time ago, and I've known you for a couple of years, but how have things been since then? Like, has there been a bit of a roller coaster, or like...
How have things been since...
Yeah, tell me.
20?
Yeah, and like, what are your tips and tricks, I guess, because you've probably learned so much about how to manage it.
Yes.
Through trial and error.
How have things been? To be honest, I think the main thing, it's never... I'm not in an episode, I'm not manic, I'm not in a depressed after that. Like, my diagnosis, this sort of 2-3 years around that, was absolutely horrible, and now I'm in a period of stability. So I have hypomania and I have depression, but that's also as someone who doesn't take too much medication anymore, because I was losing a lot of myself. The more I was medicating the bipolar, I was starting to lose my personality.
Yeah, it does that.
But yeah, I mean, you have to sort of accept with bipolar that happiness is a different type of happiness. You're not aiming to always be good, which is weird. You're aiming for stability, which is both, but manageable. And that's been a really interesting thing to have to adapt to. And accept. It's just acceptance. And I have accepted my diagnosis, and I really am proud to speak about it and be part of this community. And so that's brought me a different type of happiness, which isn't quantifiable in the same way, but it's just like a sense of calm underneath it.
And purpose, probably a bit.
A lot of purpose, yeah. Because when things don't go well with work, you constantly have this other measure of success. Like, am I raising awareness around this? Am I connecting people? Am I helping people and educating them? And that's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So weirdly, bipolar is giving me stability, ironically.
Well, no, I so get that. And it's really interesting what you said about happiness, because there is such a pressure on society to be constantly happy. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what does that actually mean? And I think that for lots of people, they think that means being like up and, joyful. Mm-hmm. And actually, joy should be on a different level. For me, that sits with like being engaged or having a baby for the first time, or your kind of proudest achievements. And otherwise, happiness is kind of 51% better than not. And like, as you just said, it incorporates being sad too.
Yeah.
And like, it's just accepting your emotions in many ways.
Yeah. And I think happiness for me is independence, because that was taken away. Like even in hospital, you're not actually allowed out your room unless they unlock you. And then after that, it was living with my parents and being on watch. And for a few years, I couldn't be left alone. And so I'm really, really happy to have my independence back. Like, I know that on a day, if I don't tell anyone what I'm doing, no one knows what I'm doing. And that's really cool. And I really like that feeling. And that's so silly, but that's why I like running. That's why I like just going off on my own without my phone, because I just didn't have that for a few years. So everyone knew and was monitoring me so much. And that means also being able to go to work and see friends. And I know for a lot of people with bipolar who are much earlier in their journey, that's what they're aiming for. And that's what I want people to know they can have back. Yeah. Because that's really attainable, I think.
And that's your message that you've been trying to promote, I guess, through your book and through everything that you do as well.
Yeah.
And you mentioned really briefly that I know that you were modelling a lot when, we've spoken about this a bit before, modelling when you were younger, and then you kind of stopped it for a bit and you're now back into that.
Yes.
Okay. How's that been? Because...
Good. Like, I'm not expecting anything from it because it's not my sole income anymore.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
Which is perfect. Yeah. And, I walked into my new agency and I just said, I don't want to do anything cool. Peacock's campaign, Sainsbury's, that is my new level of success.
You're wholesome.
Making money so I can do stuff with charity work or go on holiday with friends and do things which actually make me really happy.
Yeah.
because evidently at the height of my career it wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
So it's just, I've entered into it with such a different headspace, and it's really nice. Yeah.
Do you feel like pleased that all of that has happened then as a result? It's probably given you a new understanding of life.
I honestly don't know. I don't think I knew who I was before this, and it's forced me to learn that. There's also, like, again, just I'm conscious of people with bipolar listening, and I never want it to feel like everything's been better since, because I think you grieve your old life. You grieve, like, being able to go out for dinner with your friends and drinking, and that not be a huge decision, meaning that the next 6 days of the week you can't drink again. Like, you have a lot of grief around a diagnosis, and I think because I was so young, earning so much, and now I'm entering into my 30s and all my friends are up there and I'm just getting my independence, that is a weird sort of place to be, that you have to start again. But obviously as a person it's great. But like in the real world, for a lot of people with bipolar, it just fucks your career.
So do you feel like you're behind?
Oh my God, I feel like I'm 21. Like, I'm not ready to get engaged. I'm not ready to, like, I have no idea where I want my career to be at. Like, I feel, I've definitely noticed that I've missed like such a big part of my 20s, and I'm sort of working around being okay with that. Yeah. And just being on a different timeline.
I mean, in a way there's beauty in that, because perhaps in some ways you feel that you've got a step back, but actually you would have matured to a whole different scale that some people wouldn't have done through like life experience.
Yeah.
And
it's definitely both.
Yeah, and I think so now you get to kind of relive and redo it in a way with like hindsight as well, and the knowledge.
Yes.
Which is quite amazing.
And also it's just nice, like, no one, you're your biggest critic on where you are in life. And no one is expecting me to be where my friends are with other parts of my life.
Or anyone. Everyone.
Like, who cares? Do you know what I mean? It's just like, you have to get, I'm even learning not to have the narrative that I have to be doing what all my friends are doing. Yeah. Because I know that I need to have a flat share again. I'm moving in with other people next week. Yeah. I'm renting out my flat to not live alone and to have that experience, because I just feel like I've missed a lot of things people do when they're younger.
And if it's not, exciting. It can change. That's really exciting. Yeah. That's the thing with your 30s. It's definitely the first time. I mean, I'm not 30 yet, but the first time, kind of late 20s, where I've noticed a massive transition in friends. You know, you're in an environment where you all go to school together, and then you go to uni, and everyone kind of moves at the same pace. And suddenly you've got people who are restarting their whole careers and others who are having babies. Yeah, it's like,
so weird.
It's such a weird, difference. And there does naturally feel like a pressure, and in comparison to both extremes.
Yeah, I'm absolutely fine, except at a wedding on a singles table, where I'm like, fuck my life. Like, don't invite me, please. Don't put Rosie, me on this table. Just pretend I have a boyfriend
in the world. No, I think it's great, and it's so much better that you spend the time figuring out who you really want to be in yourself first before you then get into a relationship with someone else.
I'm also very picky, because
which is good.
I have such a fear of settling for something which doesn't excite me. I guess I'm drawn to risks, and I want someone who's interested in taking risks and doing fun things, and I think
also keeps you grounded.
Yeah.
That's the part you probably don't recognise as much, but that's actually also
I love a little spicy
margarita
person, like, who's interesting. But yeah, I think everything's been so abnormal that now I don't want things which are normal. Yeah. I understand that. Yeah, I need someone who's slightly more tapped into this vibe.
And out of this whole vibe right here. And actually, I just wanted to ask you in general, what is it like being bipolar and like dating? And you said that when you kind of think someone's the fittest person in the world, you're like obsessed with them, and then you can jump ship quite quickly.
Yeah, a few years ago, it was like, I didn't know what I was trying to control. I would just get fixated and tunnel visioned on people. And now that I'm aware that that's part of it, it doesn't really happen loads.
Really?
I'm quite in tune with whether someone likes me, and it's more like, I guess sometimes, like, if I don't think someone's interesting, which you can't really put a finger on why someone's interesting, they're just either of interest to me or they're not. And that's
a feeling. It's an inner feeling.
Yeah, but it's like, that's the same with everything. Like, if I'm interested in bipolar, I read 30 books on bipolar. If I'm not interested in gardening, I can't even read 50 pages of the book in 6 months. So if I'm interested in someone romantically, it's like, oh my God, I want to know everything about it. Yeah. But again, like, even if on that first day, I love being able to make them think I'm really boring.
Really?
And just leaving.
Really?
And like, yeah, I know straight away, you know, within 10 seconds whether you fancy someone.
Yeah, that is true. No, you're right.
And I'm all or nothing. So if I, within the first few minutes, don't feel something, that I'd totally check out. And like, even my answers to questions, I'm like, yeah, I like cats and watching TV. Do you know what I mean? I really can't give anything.
It's like, do you have any friends? No.
Yeah.
It's just me.
Like, I don't have any hobbies. I'm like, you should have this. But yeah, I guess it's just all or nothing in every way. So my experience is either really fun and we'll be out till 5 a.m. and I have a reputation of all night dates, or it's over within an hour and I've said, oh, I feel really unwell. I feel really, yeah. And then I'll say, oh, I've got bipolar. No,
right.
Oh God, she's got to leave. I'm like, yeah, I'm really depressed. I need to go home. So yeah, it's like an hour date or
I think it's great. It's great that you like have that sense of self and you know what you want and what you don't want. And it's true. There's so much pressure to like be in a relationship or to find someone or whatever. And actually, by trusting your instincts, like what you've just said, it is so like blanket like that.
Yeah.
There's either a click or there's not.
Yeah. I just wish, and this is like obviously not going to happen, but I wish that you could just after 10 minutes say, look, do you fancy me? And do I?
Yeah. Have like a light that
just,
you can put on.
Can't we just like have a discussion after 10 minutes? Be like, look, do we really want to buy 2 drinks and hang out? Because there's like no point, and after 10 minutes, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've told my friends that I think that'd be a really good idea, but they think that would be not.
That'd be a great idea for speed dating as well.
That's what I need to do.
Otherwise, it is a bit of a waste of money. That's when you go out and you spend all this.
I'm just like, I would rather be with my friends, and it's nothing against you. It's just like, I'm not interested.
Yeah, and also you'd much rather know as a person if you kind of fancy someone and they weren't that into you. You'd so much rather know early days.
Yeah, I mean, I always message straight away, saying, "Hey." Like, you're so nice, but I see this as being much more of a friend thing, because if the amount of times I've been ghosted and I thought, how dare you? Why don't you just say that you didn't fancy me?
Couldn't agree more. It's not on.
That's a subjective thing, what people find attractive.
Agreed.
So, anyway.
That's good dating
Coming
advice.
across very neurodiverse now. I'm just like, this society is so silly.
It is silly. I know. Well, communication is like the art of life, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think when you get things in early or communicate these things, they don't feel offensive. It's when you leave them late and then your actions come into play. That's when things can be like rejection can really hurt.
Yeah.
But straight up, you know. And it's so normal. I wish I'd known that more. And I see so many of my friends who go on dates and maybe if they fancy someone and they don't like them back, or, you know, whenever that's happened. And it sucks and you feel like there's something wrong with you. And I think, understanding that that's just like, that it has to take 2 to tango. And it's so much more complex than that.
100%.
As well. And you don't want someone that doesn't really love you anyway.
No. And also I think it's like, the other thing is, which I guess people with bipolar, which does make difference, is you have to check someone's effect on your mood. So I had this weird thing last year, seeing someone who was so sort of impulsive and like, wild, but a bit too far. So then I was a bit impulsive and wild, and then I went high, and then he was very hot and cold with messaging, like we'd go a week and then be like, where are you? I'm outside your door. And that was the worst person I could possibly date, because then I'd be like, where are you? I'm
outside your door.
And then it was like so fucking weird, and I just stopped sleeping. And I guess like it is so good in those early stages with the way someone communicates.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a girlfriend who's like, oh, they've not messaged, and you can tell that it's affecting their mood.
Yeah.
I just think you've got to roll with that and actually listen and be like, look, if you're checking your phone, that means that they're not giving you the security.
Yeah, or what it is that you need.
I don't even check my phone if someone's good at communicating, because it's like, boom, planning.
I agree.
Let's not really text, see you then.
And also there's such a misconception that it's not cool to communicate. And it's like, do you know, these games, I'm like, just say it up front.
I know.
Like my boyfriend was like, I just like you straight up. And he would just, it was so much easier. No fuss, like no drama. Yeah. So boys, that's a bit good of a top tip. I was going to ask, what have you kind of implemented or changes have you made in your life? You said that you don't really drink that much anymore as a result of managing bipolar, and kind of where are you at now and like starting therapy?
With managing it, I mean, I've learned so much from people as well, other people with this.
With bipolar.
Yeah, and also from my girlfriends. Like, I think the more you open up conversation, the more people share how they manage, and whether it's best friends who have ADHD or best friends who've had depression, anxiety. I have learned so much from being open about mental health in general.
Yeah.
And then reading has just been incredible, because I think for me, like I was even saying this to someone yesterday, yes, I exercise. Yes, I don't drink a lot, but I was doing all those things before my diagnosis because I've always known my sensitivity reactions are so intense. So I can be low after wine. And I'd known that since I was 17. So I never went to alcohol. And I think what I actually needed was time.
Yeah.
I needed time to process that life was going to be different. I needed time to process that I'm someone on heavy medication and that I have to see doctors more than other people. And that was just sort of, like I said earlier, like a sort of grief of old Rosie to new Rosie and coming to terms with that. But yeah, not drinking is good, but then I wouldn't stress that because joining in is so important.
Yeah.
When you've been institutionalized and you've been away from friends and you haven't been at unis and stuff, I just think joining in and getting drunk is such a big part of recovery and stopping that internal voice of control. Because when I look at periods where I'm low, like recently, it's actually when I get to obsess with control again, and I'm exercising regularly and I'm eating really healthily and I'm cutting out fun, and it's like, whoa, that I don't want that controlled life. That's wellness.
Yeah.
And wellness is not good when you have illness. I think you need variety and to speak to people and be out and be open rather than in. Yeah. But also, I mean, running, which I know you're also a runner.
Obsessed.
It's just,
I love it.
It's accessible, and I think you also share this, that it doesn't need to be skimpy outfits.
No, or like a really fast time.
No, it's just music and being out first thing in the morning and having some sort of routine before having a shower. And it doesn't matter if it's 10 minutes or if you go for an hour, like listen to your body each time, but that's really good. And then I guess the other one is just, surrounding yourself with people where you walk away and you feel good after.
Yeah.
And that is just massive. And knowing that you don't have to be everyone's friend.
That is honestly the biggest life lesson. I think if I could tell myself anything at age 20, it would be stop worrying about being friends with everyone and having your hobbies and the things that kind of make you you. They make you very robust as a person because unlike reading a book, a friend can counsel on you and they might not mean it in a bad way, but it can still leave you feeling flat.
Yeah.
But also that your friends change, and as you get older and you spend more time like investing in yourself and your hobbies and everything, there's less time for those. Yeah. And you've got to just hold on to the ones that make you feel so natural in the moment.
Well, we had this with our dinner. What's nice about people who also have like a varied work life and you don't have like set routines, and then also you're managing mental health or whether you're managing ADHD. Like, I hate when people say, "Oh, I haven't seen you in ages." Like,
yes, I know. Like, it makes you feel bad.
I have a friend who lives in New York. I see her every 3 years, and when I see her, neither of us would ever say, "Oh, I haven't seen you in a while."
It's just great. You pick up where you left off.
Some randomer you're not even that close friends with hasn't seen you in 5 weeks. It's like, not seen you.
I know. It makes you feel like a
why
badger
would I
down the hole.
So quickly. I like people who just let you sort of do your thing and then you naturally come around and see each other when you can. But I can't always commit to stuff until I know how I'm feeling.
And I think that's fine. And that's, I remember I listened to a podcast the other day. I think it was, I can't remember who it was. Oh, maybe Alain Dubotin. And someone asked him how many friends he had. And he said, I've got 2. And I thought, God, that's not very many to be getting on with. And he was like, I literally have 2 people in my life who I feel like are cool, would come anytime I needed them, who I could tell anything to, I feel 100% at home with. And when you think of it like that, obviously that's not what everybody perceives a friend to be. But when you think of it like that, you don't need many people. You need like a full, robust group who'll pick you up anytime.
Definitely realising that a lot.
Okay, so just quickly tell me about the book. Are you proud? I'm proud.
It's...
I can't believe you wrote a bloody book.
Yeah, I really can't believe it either, to be honest.
So weird.
Do you know why it was possible? It's because when you're working with an editor, you're working to deadlines. Okay, and I can do that.
Did they approach you?
Yeah. So I did a documentary in 2023.
I remember it.
And in the documentary, I was talking about wanting to write a book. And for years, I'd been like, trying to figure it out and writing huge drafts, and every time I was high I would like write for 3 days, and then I just had all of this stuff and I was like, I don't know how to make this. And then an editor approached me and it was just perfect. It was like,
is it a good fit, you two?
Perfect fit.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and just structure and just someone to also sort of give me goals, like, you have to have this chapter by then? Why don't we talk
think
about
quite
this?
useful
Why don't
for
we have
someone-
a Zoom and talk about this?
Yeah.
And it was 2 women who I work with, and it was just such an enjoyable process, and it's really encouraging to know that you can do it.
Do you feel really proud?
Yes and no. I'm not ever someone to be like, wow. I still like can't, I'm quite removed from my story, and I don't think I ever sort of wake up and go, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like weird small things which make me proud.
Yeah.
Not as much as a book.
Well, I think it's those moments where you feel like you're helping other people. That's, well, for me anyway, that's like the things that really give me a kick in life.
It's definitely helping other people, and it's nice because on Instagram, whatever, I'm not actually, like, people can message me, but there's a distance.
Yeah.
I'm never in a room full of people.
Yeah.
Talking about this. I'm always just on my phone in a DM to someone, and it feels so like texting a friend that I can reply way more genuinely. I think it would feel quite overwhelming to stand up and talk to loads of people, but a book is such a nice little thing people can just carry around, give to their friends, and it's just lovely that it's being received in a way which I would want to receive information, which is like a conversational silly book.
I think it is in a
nice way, but
it is, and I think it's like what you've just said. There's this thing that can happen where people feel, when you open up, they feel like they really know you. And I think with social media as well, I'm sure you get people approaching you, being like telling you their complete story, and
I don't mind it.
No,
really.
and I was going to say, I feel like you've reciprocated that really well.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing I would do. Like I don't do it to musicians anymore because it would. There was a stage where I'd always message people about their favourite albums, being like, oh my God, the lyrics in this song. And then now I'm like, oh my God, it's always like someone who's a friend of a friend of a friend or whatever. And I'm like, had to stop. But with books and authors, I so often send a message about why I love their book.
Yeah.
Because it's the nicest message to receive. And a book is like a commitment to spending 2 weeks with someone in your pocket. Yeah. Like, it's not like watching a 30-minute thing on Netflix. It's like true. You're physically taking it. So I just love replying. And it's I don't know about you, but it just feels like the upside of social media. A book. No, to speak about mental health.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It's like, it's the one thing that can keep you going in life, I feel. I don't know. And the community is amazing. And also so many people go through stuff that you just don't even know happens.
I know. And I can't.
And it's how we met.
Yeah.
I know. And then that was a natural bond.
There's a few people actually in my life which have been through like an Instagram message, and that's really nice, especially because I don't meet loads of new people in my routines like all the time. Yeah.
And what's next? Is there anything that you want on the horizon, or are you kind of just like, actually, I'm just going to be for a bit?
I wish I am writing again. I really want to. I'm trying to write a fiction, and I'd like to do another book on bipolar.
Really?
So
that's so exciting.
Yes, amazing. I'm just gonna. I need to. I do believe that I will get it finished, and I would. Yeah, that's what I'm focusing on.
You'll get anything done you put your mind to.
I hope so. I'm just trying to be a bit more like. With writing, someone said the other day, which is so true. When you're down, you can't even write your own name. Yeah. So to be creative and witty, and the style of writing I like to write is very quick and fun and funny, and sometimes I can't connect to that, and I'm just stood looking at the page. So obviously, me being me, I like made this amazing book plan of how to finish this book by Christmas, and then as soon as I had low week, I couldn't even write it, and I'd set myself 4,000 words a week and all of this, and so I'm trying to find a more sustainable way to write, and it sort of accept that I'm not consistent.
The thing with that, though, is you have to be flexible, because it's your downs which will give you your ups. You know what I mean? The learnings that happen in that then will shoot you up even further. And I think with anything in life, like, you need those lows to experience those highs. Yeah. And to, like, have the creativity, you actually have to hit rock bottom. Like, the musicians say that's when they're best. Music comes out, honestly, when they've just been feeling like shit, and then they're coming out of it. That's when everything starts to flow.
I know. And your humour kicks in, because it's so...
because it's funny. It's the dark... I know. Well, it's being human as well at the end of the day.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm trying not to put a timeline on it, but I am... Like, I love writing, and if I can do that, even if no one read it, it would make me really happy to finish another book. So
it's therapy.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, I'm going to go on to a couple of quick questions before we finish.
Okay.
What is your desert island dish?
I saw this. I don't like to prep questions because I never answer how I would if it was a friend on a podcast. So but this was the only one which I saw, and I thought, oh my God. My last dish...
It's really hard.
It's really hard. I think it would have to be steak
Right. With?
with hispy cabbage.
Yeah. Yeah, no, lovely. I'm liking where this is going.
It'd be steak, hispy cabbage with tahini.
Yeah, nice.
Then it'd be roasted carrots
Delicious.
and parsnips.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
With a bit of honey, maybe?
No, not,
Right, okay.
not sweet girls.
You saying
No.
honey.
Just like crisp, like almost like
Almost fried.
black.
Okay, yeah.
And aubergines. I love like vegetables, but roasted with so much olive oil.
Delicious.
Like, and then lots of tahini, lots of mayonnaise on the side, and lots of ketchup. I'm big on condiments.
Yeah, me too. I think
Yeah.
we bonded over that. Okay, cool. I'm loving the ketchup with the aubergine. That's great.
Yeah, with everything. And then what was it? A drink?
And then you can have a drink if you want.
Negroni.
Yeah, same. Ugh, same.
Yeah.
Honestly, why would you fuck around with anything else?
Do you know what? I'm going to go and cook myself this meal tonight.
And
because
get a little
I need-
Negroni.
Yeah.
Yeah, life's too short. Right, what did you want to be when you grew up? When you were younger?
Vet.
Really?
Bizarre.
No, you could be a good vet, I think.
No, my sister said, I remember her saying, Rosie, you realise that vets doesn't mean that you're just hanging around with cats. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, you see the cows. Like, we grew up in Stroud and Nailsworth, which is like in Gloucestershire. And I remember there's like cows everywhere around there. And I remember her being like, you would have to put your hand up a cow's bum. And I was like, no.
That's
And that's why I stopped wanting to be a vet, because I was like, oh my God, I wouldn't just get to hang out with cats.
No, you got to milk some others.
But it was a vet. And then it was Prime Minister.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Few extremes. What's your favourite quote or saying, if you have one?
I say it all the time, but I'm just going to say it again. You never remember what people say to you, but you remember how they make you feel.
That's very true. I
Yeah,
like that one a lot.
it's true. Definitely don't remember what anyone says.
No, that is
Unless I
very
write it
true.
down.
And advice that you'd give yourself 10 years ago?
Advice that I would give myself 10 years
Maybe just one piece.
ago.
If there was something you could say to Rosie, aged 19.
Don't look away. I think, yeah, I've my lows have become so much more manageable now that I don't look away.
Yeah. And you've got
Because
people
my
around
mood
you.
is so flippant, and being around someone good vibes can change my mood. And I didn't see that as a positive to bipolar because I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And I wish I'd have known that rather than just hiding away
It's good advice.
for a lot of time.
Stabilise yourself with friends. What's your proudest achievement?
My proudest achievement is stability.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Day to day.
Just being in a place of being able to function again.
Yeah.
Like, I talk about this because it's an illness where most people never get that back.
Yeah.
Like, it's the highest suicide of any mental illness. It's so difficult to get independent again and to not relapse. And I talk about it because I'm privileged to be able to.
Yeah.
And I'm so
Good.
aware that my community are not people who are all thriving like me. And I just never want to lose sight of how big a deal it is that I've managed to get it back together.
I'm proud of you.
Oh, thanks.
That's
I
true.
mean, that is probably the one thing I'm proudest of. So.
Yeah, 100%, and as you should be. And what's the biggest lesson that you've learnt?
Also not to take life too seriously.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It runs out fast.
It just makes hard times so much harder.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more.
It's just like,
I know. Also, then you'll forget all the important bits, the small things, you know?
yeah, just, I mean, I don't take life too seriously anymore, but whenever I do, it just, you start losing sight of the things which are good.
Yeah, the
I think.
people and the moments.
Yeah, just to look up instead of like down all the time.
That's good advice. And who's your role model? Do you have one?
No role models.
Okay, cool. No role
No,
Great.
no.
Oh, you'll probably be the only person.
I
who
was
does
about
that.
to get that tattooed about a year ago, and I'm really glad I didn't because it's really embarrassing. But no, I just don't think it's good to look at someone and think that that's what you should be like.
Yeah. Or anyone that inspires you, maybe, is a better way of
Oh,
phrasing
so
the
many people
question.
inspire me, but I think they're all people in my life. Like, I can't connect to people online if I don't know them.
Yeah.
I don't know how they make me feel. I don't understand their mannerisms, anything. I'm so inspired by the people in my life and how they make me feel, because they don't realise how big a deal that is and how much of a difference it's made. And
It's so true. Isn't
it's
it?
just, yeah, I even was at a best friend's house yesterday, and she knew that I was like not my best self at the moment, and I just walked in and it was a peanut butter with a spoon on top. And
That's my
I just
favourite
thought,
thing.
you're such a legend. Like,
Yeah.
and she, in her career, everything is so successful. And I know it's because of that. attitude
the small
towards the people
things.
in her life,
Yeah.
that she's doing well in work.
Yeah.
So I just notice in my friends why them being great to me, I can see it in all aspects of their life. I just think that's really cool.
That is cool.
So yeah.
Yeah, never forget who makes you get where you need to be on the way up. Rosie, thanks. That's it. Any last words? Famous last
No,
words?
I thought there might be one more foodie one.
Oh, there can be another foodie one. What's your favourite cake? You don't like cake?
Oh, do you know what? With sweet things, all I care about is chocolate.
Okay, same, to be honest.
Yeah,
What's your favourite chocolate bar?
Hue.
Really?
With the cashew inside.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But they stopped the milk chocolate ones.
Have they?
Yeah, they stopped the milk chocolate ones coming over. But nut butter is my favourite thing in the world.
Yeah.
And so if it's with chocolate, it's just like...
A match made in heaven.
Yeah, they're a brother and a sister based in LA. And I looked them up and I was like, you don't understand what you've created
I've
here.
destroyed a few of those bars.
So genius.
They're a bit lethal.
But yeah.
That's your favourite. Well, thank you so much for coming back again. And if anyone would like to get in touch with Rosie, you can find her at Rosie Viva on Instagram. Is that it?
Yes.
Is that the only way?
Yeah.
Yeah? Great. Well, thanks. Let's come back again soon.